All right, what's up, my friends? Another beautiful day. It's June 18th, 2021. I want to start off by saying thanks for all the kind words. Really appreciate everyone that's dug into the first video, getting in. I've really had a couple of y'all that have gone deep and are doing some of the things. I'm pumped to get this started. If I could do a video a week for the next 6 months, that'd be sweet. Went really fast on the last video, even for an hour and a half. I was covering a lot. I was wanting to slow this one way down. Got some beer. There it is. Dexter's getting him some water right now. Just want to slow this one down. And the next video is going to be a real intro to macro traders, what I'm trying to do. But this one, I'm really going to go deep. It's going to be really long. I'm going to speed some things up, but I just want to go into all of my sources right off the bat. Just what I'm about to show you has taken me hundreds of hours to develop. Finding the best sources, not going to look like it's as difficult what I'm giving you, but trust me, it's a lot. So basically look what I do each day. So for currencies and stocks, the trading day ends for my time zone central at 4 p.m. So currencies go 24/5, the market closed. I mean, it's Fridays, 7 o'clock right now, market closed a couple hours ago. So I usually do my research about 4:30 to 5, like right after the market closes. Gives Bloomberg and everyone time to put out their articles for the day, summarizing it and whatnot. That's when I gather everything. So what I do, I have this template that I designed this. I kind of got the ideas from a couple of past traders. We look at some charts, but it's really, I mean, I'm a global macro trader. Global macro is the best way to trade. That's how people trade for forever now. The best traders in the world. It's not, of chart patterns or technicals or anything like that. It's global macro. So years, decades ago, I mean, traders were getting all their information, from newspapers before computers. And like the best traders, they would subscribe to all the different newspapers. Some of them they may only get once a week through the routes and everything. But now it's like information is so much faster. We have so many sources, so that can make it difficult to find like what is the best and what's nonsense. So I've developed this template. I'm pretty much the only one. Some people do something similar, but it's basically, instead of like old days where people would cut out all these newspaper clippings and everything, I'm just organizing mine into Word and Excel files. So basically, I'm just trying to fill out this day, and this tells me everything I need to know what went on with the day. So sentiment, that's the last thing I get to. It's basically the mood of the day. I just may summarize like who were the hot or not so hot currencies, stocks, whatever. Currency chart, I'm gonna got a source for that. News releases, the news for all the markets that I trade. Basically, you can get those at one website. Option barriers. If you don't know exactly what those are right now, don't worry about it. Basically, these are levels that people bet on. Banks make deals, whatnot. Not the same thing as stocks options, but I mean, these are options in the currency market. We'll get to those later. Market research, these are all the free sources I'm going to get into, tons of articles. There's a ton of, the only thing I pay for is Bloomberg and TradingView, but Bloomberg is the only thing I use for a fundamental source. I mean, it's the only thing that I pay for. I have tons of free sources that I'm about to show you. So this is once I fill this out each day, I know it. I'm not able to look at a chart and not know what happened. I know exactly what happened for pretty much everything I look at. So let's get it. So these are my sources. I'm gonna put this in the description of the YouTube video, so you're able to click on these. I recommend using Edge as a browser when we gather our links, because it makes it the links like this where it's real nice. I went ahead and put the HTTP, all these, so you'll know, because you'll have to go out or you can click the links, whatever, save them from the YouTube video. But TradingView, I mentioned in the last video, go and get that. Here's a link for the desktop app I already put for you. MT4, get your MetaTrader platform, get that on your phone, the App Store. You can get Oanda at the App Store, get TradingView at the App Store, and get all these in the App Store on your phone right now if you don't go ahead and have a computer. So those are what you need for technical analysis. I mean, really just MT4 and TradingView. You can set up a demo account through Oanda or MetaTrader website itself. I use Oanda, so I put that on there. So our top market sources, like I said, Bloomberg is the absolute best. They control like 33% of the financial news sector. Reuters has like 23%. So, I mean, you have like 56% right there. And really that's it. That's basically 100% between those two, because everything else comes from those. Like even on CNBC, some of these others that I get to, they get their sources from Bloomberg. It's kind of weird when I first got into that because I didn't really trust one website for so much information, especially, and I didn't even know how I felt. I mean, especially with Mike Bloomberg opening. I think Mike Bloomberg's kind of a dumbass. I think he's dumber than Biden sometimes. Like he seems even more clueless. But I mean, the Bloomberg website as a whole is really good. It just seems like between economic, market news, central banks, like all these political or these people that these journalists have to interview, Bloomberg seems to have the best, so they have it really hooked up well. Like it's almost like these reporters are friends with these central bank officials and all these different people. Like they know them by name, same people. It seems like Bloomberg gets the best inside. Like they get the one-on-ones. I don't know how they have it set up. They're just the most trusted. So I'm going to do Bloomberg last once I go through this research. Bloomberg's actually where I usually do every other site first. So I go through all these other sites first because these are all free, get all my other information. Then I'll go through Bloomberg last because I really enjoy reading Bloomberg articles. Like I love just the way they have their site set up. Like their articles usually are the most in depth for what they cover. These other sites do really well at telling what happened during the day, but Bloomberg goes really deeper into why. They have some good opinions, not different. It's also where I get, because when we start going through these, we're looking for market movers. We're looking for the things that moved all of the different markets for the day, like not necessarily politics or socioeconomic, all these other different things that Bloomberg, all these other websites put out, just like mainstream media sites. You know, we're not looking, if I do care about those or anything extra that's not a market mover, I do get it from Bloomberg because they usually have the best articles that I usually get something from out of those. But everything else, I'm just going from market movers. If there's something that I'm interested, I don't know, it could even be sports or AI or something they write about. If it is socioeconomic or political, I am going to get it from Bloomberg, but I'm really going for market movers first. That's what I'm usually going for last. So, you know, Bloomberg, Reuters, CNBC, all top news sites, you know, been respected for years, have good stuff. I got, you know, I'll get central bank stuff from there too, but I got 4 specific back to Reuters, CNBC. There's on the specific central bank tabs, and then 2 really unbiased central bank news sites. So I got the central banks covered, like absolutely. Like actually, like when we go through this, I really do overkill. I mean, I have so many sources that I go through, and then I have additional sources in this, but these are the best. And so no matter what market you're covering, if you do have these right here, you're going to be in good shape. If you're covering the main articles on those, you're going to be in good shape. So then after that, in the last video, I talk about the pound, like trade currencies. I love trading the pound. I trade it versus anything. If there's Australian news coming out, I'm going to tag the pound with it. Even if the pound's having a good day and I'm trading bullish Australian news, there's just so much volatility with it. I love trading the pound. So I got 3 sites specific to the pound. And then these other ones, you know, it really gets into specific, like what market you're choosing. Like you really need to have additional sources for the specific market, especially if you're just into Ethereum or whatever you want, really like maybe a specific gold source or Bitcoin, like one that's just truly dedicated. Because these, usually I get a little bit of crypto from Investing Cube. I get some crypto, some Action Forex, FX Empire. I'm going to show you all these, but they're just kind of smaller names, but they cover some good stories too. All of these websites cover the same stories because there's only so many stories that can come out through the day. But I'm looking for different opinions. Maybe there's different sources. Maybe they talk to different people about things. But I just do complete overkill when I go through all the stories. These are specific. I'm going to get into those. Financial Juice is awesome. I'm going to show you that towards the end. It's a website that scans multiple websites. I'm going to put all these. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So I've already got TradingView. I've got all my stuff set up. So I'm really just going from the research sources down. So let me gather my source. So first, look at my document. Usually I get my articles first, and then I'll come back to option barriers and news releases. We'll go ahead and do this in order. So I'll do sentiment last because, sentiment is basically a summary, like a summary of what I've covered for the whole day. It's everything else in the on this template. So currency chart. I've already got a lot of these pulled up. Yeah, so a currency chart. So I mean, I have my charts that I can see the currency, but this really divides it out by each other pair. And so it really shows, I mean, there's multiple websites I can get this from too. And you can get this for, whatever stock you're looking at, crypto. You may just have to Google around, but I like to get this, make sure you pick the right day. Let's see. So yeah, today's Friday. So I see the US dollar, the yen had a really good day, from the Fed meeting a couple of days ago. I'll talk about that in a second, but I can really differentiate what happened the day and when exactly it happened with the time. So I'm gonna snip this. I like to save it. I think I already saved today's. I already saved today, so I'm gonna right click, copy. Let's go back to my template. A currency chart. So news releases, I keep up with these on an Excel file. I don't know if I'm gonna cover that for a little bit in this video. Actually, yeah, I'll just go ahead and show you at least what I do, but not too in depth. So I don't need this website anymore. So this is where I get my news, forexfactory.com. You're going to keep up with whatever's coming out for your specific markets. You're definitely going to look at Forex Factory no matter what you're trading, because this is the currencies. This is all the major news coming out for the day, no matter what your market is. Like today, the main thing was the Bank of Japan policy rate. 8 major central banks. Fed just came out earlier this week talking about rate hikes in the next 2 years. So I used to copy this and put this on the Word file, but since I already do that on Excel, I just have 2 separate files. I actually pull that up where I'm doing it now. So you see how this is right now, actual, forecast, previous, what the currency is, suspected impact, what it is. It gives you a little detail. Right here tells you what, if it comes out higher or lower, what that does for the currency. And you can use that information to go in your stocks. So I copy this over to an Excel file. I know I'm going a little deep right now. I'm not going exactly how I do this, but basically, like I'm back testing the pound versus the dollar right now. So I have the pound currency and the US dollar highlighted. So I go through all of these and see if there was an impact or not. Most of the time there's no impact. I say no market impact for GBP. Some currencies there might be, others, but I go through each day and I go back on the 1 minute chart on my charts and basically write down what happened for the day. See like right here, I was talking about what happened. Price was at 175, 1.3875 for this news event. Went up 14 pips first minute, another 20 pips the next 5 minutes. I know it's some code to me, minus 20 pips the next 5 minutes. I mean, I tell what happened. I compare those over time because in currencies, it's the same news releases coming out over and over again. Let's look for the month of June. Not, each currency has a rate statement coming out. Like I said, with the Fed just came out, different manufacturing PMIs, CPIs, different things like these come out. Some of these things come out every single month. So if there's a big difference between what is forecasted and what actually happens, there's a trade there. So there's infinite trades all the time in the currency market. So I think, yeah, Japan actually had a good day today. So it had to come from their policy statement. I'm sure I'll get some articles from it saying, but I copied that over to Excel file because I'll just write down, since I do have that on Excel file, I will just write down Bank of Japan rate meeting. So when I come back to this file later on, I'll know that was the major thing for that. Because I mean, there's several things for the day, but there's several news releases, but there's only so many that have an impact. There could be a ton of news releases and none of them have major impact, but I'll write usually like the major one. Option bears, don't worry if you don't know what these are, especially in the currency market. I don't worry about it right now, but it's something we do gotta cover. Basically, well, there wasn't even, let's see if it shows today. Oh, okay, so Fridays was covered in this. So you see the currency pair, and then you see these levels, see a number next to it and an amount. So each day, wherever price is at, like it shows, I guess, what price is at today. So people are betting on these levels. Like some people want these levels to get hit. Some people don't want these levels to get hit. Either a touch barrier or no touch barrier. There's about 4, 5, 6 different kinds, but basically a hedge fund will come to a bank or another hedge fund. They'll work out a deal and they'll say, I'll bet 841 million that this level is going to get hit. And the bank says, okay, I'll take that bet. So one hedge fund pays a premium to the other, and if it gets hit, they get paid out. So you have one party that wants these levels to get hit, and you have one party that doesn't want this, because the bank doesn't want these, or the other hedge fund doesn't want to pay out. So what happens is, not only is there all this global macro and all these news events throughout the day, you also have some crazy people who like to bet on these levels in addition to everything else that's going on in the world. So they pay a premium to get a bet on these levels, whether it's going to get hit or not. And then there's like, it could say 979 million is riding on this one level, but when it comes down to it that day, it ends up being billions, because you have both sides initiating billions of orders to protect their sides. They also add on their own money to push price at these levels to get hit or to defend it. So you want to cover these each day. It's not every currency pair, it's only the majors usually, and then sometimes like Australian versus JPY or Euro versus GBP or something. So what I'll do, this has Fridays down here. I guess since he puts this chart out, he doesn't have to come out with an article every day. I do like it because he usually gives a little bit of tidbit. The guy puts this out. So I'm going to again go to my snip, go from down here. Just right click that, copy. I used to save in currency. So I got that right there. Come back to sentiment. It tells me, so I'll look at my chart later and see if these levels got hit. Usually this comes out about 9 p.m. for me, sometimes a little bit later, so you can prepare for the next day a little bit easier throughout the night. So market research, these come, I'm gonna do, see a market research down here, and I have Bloomberg research. So I'm gonna do all the free sites first and everything that I cover with those, and then I'm gonna go do Bloomberg. What I'm gonna do, so I went ahead and the list I got, went ahead and put them all up here. I already have it ready for this video. So these are all the free ones, and I'm gonna do Bloomberg in a separate, I got that on my top screen. Got Bloomberg. So how I do my research, you can see how I do my research, and then for your specific markets, or if you're doing currencies, you can copy exactly what I do. If you're doing stocks, whatever, you may have to change a few different sources, but you'll get like the structure of how I do this. So I'm looking at the front page. I'm looking for market movers, not all this political, socioeconomical like opinions. I'm not looking for all this stuff. I'm looking for what actually moved the markets. Like, so you see U.S. bishops vote to draft communion statement that may rebuke. See, that's not a market mover. Like whether you care about whatever the, like some of these articles are, it's not a market mover. So Wall Street ends sharply lower after hawkish bullard spooks investors. So that tells me something that happened in the market. So I'm gonna add that up here, like new tab, judge orders U.S. sanctions take over Iran presidency. Don't need that. Portland's police, don't need that. Now, see, extends travel ban. See, these aren't market movers. I'm really just doing a glance over, and this is Reuters. This is one of the main financial stocks, and there's not even that much finance because there's only so many finance articles that can come. There's only so many big stories that can come out each day. They know they're after clicks too, like other places. Bloomberg is too. So you gotta, people really gotta be able to find the right stuff. So I clicked on markets. This goes from home to markets. It opened a new tab. So I don't need this home page anymore. I said, add that. I'm gonna go to search and go to Forex, saturated currencies. There's that Forex specific articles will do really well for you no matter what you trade. Go to date. So today's the 18th. So I'm gonna go down. I usually do this about 5-6 p.m. So I'm gonna get everything from the 17th at about that time that I didn't cover. A lot of these have like the same titles on it. Some of these may just be updates. See, like these are the same, basically the same. So this is just an updated article of this one. So you don't need all of these, but for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna put all these articles are gonna say the exact same thing pretty much. There may be one little update in it. So yeah, all these articles that you really only have to read like one of them. So that's all I get from Reuters. Click out the search. So you can see by the little logo, I got 6 articles right here, or 7. I'm going to CNBC, just look at the front page. If I see anything about central banks, the Fed, see, they're talking about interest rates 2023. They're already talking about 2022 now. So add that. Back to the gym. Dow falls 500. Yes, I'm gonna add that because the Fed came out and talked about tapering bonds, talked about rate hikes. That's made everything fall the past couple of days, past 2 days. Yeah, I'll get it. Usually not as much on CNBC. If there's something about the Fed, see, I don't care about Roku and Netflix. Sometimes you may care about if there's hedge fund like Goldman, a big one. Some things they say. Peter Thiel. Usually, I bet I'm going to see this again on Bloomberg. I bet there's going to be something about Peter Thiel because usually if there's something crazy like this that I'm just like, what? And sometimes I only read. Usually I put that at the end of everything that I read because it's not a market mover, but something because I'm still building a library of things that I'm interested in. But I mean, this is all. I get a couple articles from them. Let's go back to Reuters Central Bank. Again, I'm looking at the date. Oh man, there's a lot that came out. It's a lot of articles because of Fed. Okay, I'm gonna start here. I think I remember. I don't have the exact date since these are yesterday's. Actually, as long as it's about the Fed or something related to the 8 major currencies, I'm getting it. Sometimes you see things, you don't need everything. This is a lot of articles today. Going to the bottom because I'm going to earlier. See, climate change isn't really, it might be a market mover later. I, of course, care about climate change, but it's not a market mover right now. Yeah, I mean, there's talking about, it needs to be talked about, things to be done, but I'm not bringing my own views into any of this when I'm looking for market movers. Russia, I don't care about Russia. I mean, they're not going to move my major currencies. I already got something, we're already seeing some of the same articles that we already covered. I've already got an article on that from them. See, I mean, these are basically the same articles. So you don't need everything. Look, I already got so many articles. This is my search page. Don't need that. Go to the next logo, back to CNBC Central Banks. I think I've already got this article from them. The Fed has opened. That's a video. So sometimes I don't need the videos. I mean, I usually get a treasury yield article from them. Usually rely on that from them. Swiss, it's from 17th. I think I've already got that. So only one article from them. Central banks, Norway, don't care about that. June 17th. So I mean, not gonna get anything. I got something from them a couple of days ago. Wednesday 16th. Got the Fed. I mean, there's only 8 that I care about. They've only meet, about once every other month. So I mean, not always gonna get something from them. RBA, Reserve Bank Australia. Of course, I care about that. Cancels market operation. Well, that's actually not a market mover. So not they had a hack or something. Demand for Fed's reverse repo. I'm gonna add that. But the Fed, ECB, European Central Bank. Sometimes I don't even read the whole headline just yet. If I see something that I care about, I'm just gonna go ahead and add it. Read it in a minute. These are all the 17th. Don't need these. I got these yesterday. So that's got 2 articles from them. That's all I need. Usually these are all updated pretty good. Euro dollar. I don't care about, I mean, this you'll see Commerzbank. So this is an opinion from them. CBIC. I mean, it's probably a bank or something. Usually these are a little bit better articles than what usually just give me some good currency articles. Australian dollar, yeah, I go from the bottom right here because the way they're put out. I want to go back in order. US dollar, yes. Yen, yes. So this is a pound website. You can get good stuff from other articles, for other currencies. 18, I mean, it's the same. Basically, it's going to tell me the same things. Exchange, love the exchange. Sometimes you get some crypto here. Yeah, I'm just gonna get all these polygons, crypto. I don't really know much about it, so check it out. EURUSD, EURUSD. Oh, I got a Polygon, Bitcoin. I may get something Bitcoin from InvestingQ possibly, or Bloomberg. Action Forex. And take this sterling, the pound, dollar, Bank of Japan. This is the 17th. I just got 2 articles on the 18th here. It's all I need. Delete my search page. InvestingQ. I usually get a lot of crypto from here. This is some Ethereum, some specific top stocks, cost. If this is where you can get some option plays sometimes. So like, because usually when there's an article come out on these sites, it usually takes a couple of days for like the rest of the crowd to catch on. Like we saw earlier this year with some meme stocks. Dow Jones, I'll go ahead and get that, S&P. So look at all these articles. So these are all the main articles for the day. All of them say the exact same thing. So it may look like a ton, but once I read like 1 or 2, I can kind of just go scan and catch what I'm kind of looking for. So what I do, I'm going to speed this up to in a second, is I'm going to go through and read these and then copy the article and put it on my under market research. So I'm gonna do that in a second. I'm gonna speed the video up. I'm gonna go to Bloomberg, do the same thing because I can get a ton of articles just from Bloomberg alone. So Fed shock stocks, get that. Stocks tumble. They usually have a stock market today article. I usually want to put that in the beginning. I put my more important market mover articles first in Bloomberg because Bloomberg is where I will gather my things that I'm interested in as far as socioeconomical, or I mean, artificial intelligence, electric vehicles, solar, just all kinds of just interests that I have. I'll put those at the end. I want the market movers to be at the beginning. Fund managers, renew love for tech stocks. I might could put that at the back. Investors leap to chance to double their money. Some articles just make me say what the hell? So I'm gonna add them. Michael Burry, love Michael Burry. I'm gonna add, don't care what it says, I'm gonna add him. Talking about some crypto. Mark Cuban's lost possible death. Good enough of him. Bitcoin. When a full El Salvador surf town went full crypto. Interest. Renaissance set for 11 billion. Screw them. Latest Fed bullers said high inflation. I've already got articles about this from other sites, but Bloomberg gives me a pretty good from the Fed. I'm going to take it. The Delta strain, ruh-roh. Most read, sometimes they don't matter, but you want to be able, and back with all my other sources, you want to make sure there's eyes on these sources too. You can find all these small sources. How do you know people are looking at these? How do you know these opinions matter? If it's from Bloomberg and Reuters, a lot of people are reading it. So even if there's something that I may not specifically care about, it's in the most read. I kind of do want to see what other people's, and I not really care about anything going on with the vaccine. It's not a market mover. It was a market mover on the deliveries, not a market mover now. $17 billion bet. Some articles are just what the hell? Let's check it out. You just scroll down because we get in, like other publications, and again, with these articles, I've spent hundreds of hours going through researching. The only thing I don't have is a Bloomberg terminal. That is the absolute best thing that I don't have. We'll eventually have, but it's $2,000 a month. So I'm getting everything for free right now, even though it takes a lot of time, whatever. But like other sources, so if you tell me, what about Forbes or Market Watch or Financial Times, go look at those sites. They don't have market mover articles. Everything comes from Bloomberg. They just have a bunch of socioeconomicals. They have a bunch of divisiveness. They have a bunch of stuff that's just trying to clickbait, trying to get clicks, stir shit up. So it gets into that too. Not that I don't care about those things. Some things may catch my eye and I will add it. But, again, I'm going after time in my whole trading endeavor. I'm trying to get my market news and get out. So usually I come down stories for you. You might have something for me since I'm on this site so much. But you can actually get about everything you need if you keep on scrolling. It keeps on loading, just keeps on loading. But I don't like to do all that. I'll go to markets tabs. Already got this article, I believe. Sometimes they'll say red. Yeah, start market today over here. I've already got this one right here. Usually if it syncs up fast, since I can't, it'll have a little green check mark that says red. It makes it easier to keep up with ones that have covered. Already got that article. Oil tied to the Canadian dollar, care about that. I already seen this article, so I got that. Already got that one. Got that one. Already read that one. So got that one. See, I've already seen a lot of these. Let's go then to economics specifically. I think this was from yesterday, possibly. Updated. Yeah, just updated June. I'll leave it up. Better for overkill than to not cover everything. Seeing a lot of the same articles. BOJ, I know they had a meeting today. Definitely had that. ECB. Bank of England, the pound, sure. Then we go fixed income. Got all these. It shows the same articles on the same tabs or different tabs. Forex, FX. Already got that article. Sometimes I got some random articles. I don't care about Nigeria. Pound stumbles as virus resurges. Coronavirus isn't as big of a market mover now as it was, but if there's a crazy, so if they concoct something, it can move the market in. So these are all my Bloomberg articles. So I got Bloomberg. I also have all of these free articles. I mean, this is a ton of articles. I go through like 50 articles a day, usually on average. I'm not including those other sites I already covered in the beginning. So what I'll do is I have different templates that I've developed for my actual notebook. I got notepad paper in front of me. What I'll do is I'll go through and I'm going to copy all of the links, copy those onto here, and then I'm going to read the articles as well. So I'm going to have to do that just now, speed up the video afterwards or while I'm doing it. So it won't take long, but this is what the real, like what takes all the work. So like once I cover all these articles, then I know exactly what I need to trade. I know exactly what happened. I hadn't even looked at charts yet. I hadn't even like I'm just looking at all these articles. Imagine if you're being a trader that you don't even have charts. How are you going to do it? You're going to need information. What I can do, I'm going to hit the Windows key, left arrow, pull this over, hit my file, hit the Windows right. So I split this. So come down. I'm going to copy this link. Whoops. So that's why I'm recommending Edge. So it's not an HTTP link. It actually shows that you can read the title really clearly. But yeah, so I'll read the article. It'll tell me what happened in the day. And then I just keep going. So this one, Fed hawkish shift. So I mean, a lot of these this is the same exact. There may just be like one or two sentences that are different in some of these. It may just be like they update articles as they get information. So I'm gonna copy these real quick, read these. Yep, same thing. Went through all the articles, gathered all. So this is what it looks like so far. So now that I've covered currency chart, what happened today, option barriers. I'm going to look at some charts in a second. Market research, all these articles for the day. So many of them telling the same thing. Everything talking about the Fed. The Fed's the main story. I mean, all these articles are about the Fed. So it looks like a ton of articles. It's really not that much information. I just like to do overkill. So now I'm going to up here at sentiment. US. Let's see. USD, JPY strong. USD still, because the Fed came out, they meet this last week and decided this is just a rumor. Well, no, they said that there's going to be possible 2 rate hikes before 2023. I think the market was pricing in maybe 1, and the Fed came out and surprised the market with 2. That's what caused all this market. So that means less stimulus. Basically means they're going to cut back on QE, making US dollars more expensive, makes it more attractive, which is why everything's sold off. Because you look at a chart, like I'm looking at, see like the pound versus the dollar. See, that's when this big candle right here, that's when that meeting happened, and we sold off the rest, Thursday and Friday, the rest of the day, each of these little separators for the day. That's why it stops right here, ended at 4, and there will be a line starts there Monday. But since we're cutting off QE, that's increasing the value of the dollar. I mean, they're not printing anymore, or they're still printing ton, but they're just going to start printing less. I can look at, euro versus dollar. Everything, these charts look the same. Australian dollar to US dollar, New Zealand, they're all going down. Now, if I put US dollar first, US dollar JPY, you see it goes up, but JPY also gained, like, because this is a fraction now. So it's like you have US dollar up top, JPY on the bottom. So US dollar gained, it went up, JPY got weak. Now JPY gained, still down. The US dollar is still strong. You see it's still going up versus the Swiss franc, versus the Canadian dollar. And the US dollar is doing good because Australian dollar is going down. US dollar is gaining as Australian dollar is going down. So let's look at an example of option barriers. I don't even know if these got hit. They look kind of a little flat today. So Friday, I know this is hard to see right now. Euro USD 1.195, 1.1975, 1.2, 1.21. Price started out about 190. Oh yeah, so these were all way lower. So these levels were, what was the lowest one? Like 1.95. So these are the only indicator I have is these 4 lines right here, because it's the outer 2 levels of where price is, and price tends to bounce around these levels a lot. So let's see. Yeah, 1.95. All these other ones are above it. So clone that. Oh, it's like right on it. It's like right on it too. So there's these levels. I think there's no one up here. So basically people are either betting on these levels to get hit or not hit on top of everything else going on in the world. So a lot of times these don't really come into play. Sometimes they can get hit or not hit naturally. Sometimes if there's nothing else really going on in the day, it seems when these guys really come out, it's like when the day's already kind of flat. Even though it's a little bit flatter, this is a big move right here. Price is still dropping because of this Fed announcement. May reverse, in a couple days. Maybe not. The dollar may appreciate for the next couple days. So I'm just looking through the different ones to see, and you can create. For example, I expect the US dollar to be bullish, so I expect this chart to go down. Euro USD, so Euro is going to be bearish going down while US dollar is bullish. So if I see these levels up here, if they were to get hit, I would sell on those because I expect the US dollar to gain. I expect price to keep falling. So if someone comes up and triggers one of these, so I can do settings. Oh wait, and click add an alert only once, get options only once, leave everything else alone, notify on the app, show pop-up so I get it directly to my phone, create. It's going to have a little timer. So if this were to come up and get hit, it would give me an alert to my phone and I could make a trading decision now. All my decisions I pretty much have 3 different trades I take. I take option barrier trades, I take news release trades that I study, I take global macro trades. The global macro comes from all of these articles, dozens of articles that I read each day. If I get a good, I may just take a trade off support and resistance somewhere. But let's see how long. I don't even know how to see how long I'm going right now. But so basically, I fill this out each day, and I have my other ones up. I keep this, I got Q1, Q2, quarter 2, first 3 months, second 3 months. You keep doing it by the quarter. So now I could just go back to any day. I know some of this sitting all filled out. Sometimes I feel the most important thing is the articles, because you want to gather the articles for that day for what you're studying. Because when it goes past that day, it's hard to go into the archives. It's hard to Google and find these things. So you always want to gather articles, even if you don't trade. But now I have a library, so I can go back when something happens in the future. I can go back and pull articles from that day to study what's going to happen in the future. So that's really the power of it. But so since it's Friday, I'm not making a trading decision tomorrow. But I expect Monday, like since I've read all these, like, and been reading these throughout the day already, I expect this US dollar sell off or buying to, or sell off of every other assets. I expect that to continue into Monday. Some people are calling it's maybe pretty ugly Monday. I hope not. Um, but we'll see. But these articles tell me everything that's going to go on. I mean, I know that the yen did really well today. The New Zealand dollar didn't. Like the commodity currencies, the riskier currencies are all down here. The pound, the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. When, like I said, the commodities are doing well, usually, the US dollar and yen are not. It's because we're investing in those. And then when those are doing well, usually the riskier currencies are not. So this is basically what I do each day. I build this library, then I'll go over to Excel. I have this software on my MT4 platform where I can pick a chart, whatever day I want into the past, like up to like 20 years, and I can go back and I can like play that day. So I can just press play. And make it move a little bit faster. We see the market, I can go into real time. This is how I often back test my news sources, or my news releases. I can go back and get the news releases, and I can go back to any chart and see what happened and back test. That's what I do all the time. That's how I know. News is my favorite trading. All of my trading, again, it comes off of news, option barriers, or global macro. And these other things help. I mean, because like I said, it goes in cycles. So US dollar may do well for a couple of days, then we may not do well for a couple of days. The other currencies may do well. It's all about cycles and whatnot. So I think I'm gonna stop here. Hope this helps. What really takes long is really going back on the charts. I'm not gonna go all through that. I'm sped this up a little bit. But it's really just building a library. It's doing these are the daily regimen. This is what I do every day. It's reading the articles. When you do this for about 90 days, I mean, when you come in and read these articles right now, it's a lot of this ain't going to make sense. You're going to have to do some Googling. You're going to have to look at different words. But after a while, I mean, I've been doing this method for about a year now, and like it's really not hard to keep up with everything. In the beginning it was, but yeah, so like those are the best sources I'm gonna give you. So the only other thing, the sources that I'll give right now that are really, I mean, I've been giving all my best sources. I got a couple other ones I might say. There's some blogs, there's some different people. Exit out of my platform. So I'm gonna copy this to the YouTube video. So yeah, so also had Financial Juice and Twitter. So Twitter is really good for news trading. Like if you follow the right people, if there's news releases come out, sometimes you get really fast. So because when the news releases come out, I don't know why it's doing like I got the time. I got the time off. I got it on UTC GMT time because that's what I back test on. So you want to click the right time, Central. It was telling me it's tomorrow. So, I'm looking at what point was I about to make? I don't know. So I'm gonna go really deep later on into exactly how I do my news back testing. This software they use like $100 called Soft4X. Oh, Financial Juice. That's what I was. So when a news, okay, yeah. So you got your forecast and previous going into the news release that actually knows what you're waiting on. So right at these minutes, if it's 12:59, you're waiting. Even if it's 1 a.m., sometimes you're going to get a little green arrow here. It's going to be like a little refresh button. It always doesn't, like you're going to have to refresh it yourself. It's not always going to come out exactly right on time. So it's good to have like a squawk, what they call. So I'm gonna go to Financial Juice. Not only do I have those dozens of sources I use, but this Financial Juice is awesome. It's free. I have the different things that I cover up here. You can go to my news providers, blog sites, educators, analysts, so many different people through all these. I've spent hours going through each of these people individually to find what I believe is a great setup. You can cover all of these, like all of these different sites for free. They scan them. RIP. Bloomberg, CNBC, I've already covered all of these. Daily FX, there's some smaller Forex sites. I mean, they get all their stuff from Bloomberg and whatnot too, but sometimes they can cover different things quicker. They have, they may have a terminal or something they get from Invest, Market Watch, Reuters. I mean, so get some China news. China does really good using commodity currencies, doing Yahoo Finance. So this covers a lot. And when it comes out at 1 a.m., usually I can almost get the news releases from here faster than the actual news site because it's going to be actual information that's coming out. It's going to be headlines coming out. So that's really great. Definitely get Financial Juice. Going to help you with whatever you're into. You can just go and select the macro tab. That's usually what I do. I go into all these different things. Usually I just keep this running in the background when I'm live trading. It's not what all that, I mean, you see all these different things that aren't market movers, but they're coming out. Let's go like when the market was going hot earlier this morning. All right, yeah. So 836, 836, 837, 837, 837, 839. So these things are coming out pretty quickly in the morning session. This has been New York session. So during news releases, this is really, really helpful. Really helpful all the way. If I can't find anything in my news sites, which is very, very rare, usually I can find it here also. So really great to have run in the background when you're live trading, news trading, etc. So this is basically what I do. I mean, this is done for the day. Like this is it. I hadn't even looked at, then after that, after I do all this, for the charts that I do a trade, then I will go mark up. I'll mark up one real quick. Then I'll turn this off. It didn't get a lot of news for Australian. So, and here, on TradingView, this is my desktop app that I use with it. You got the big three, which is why I recommend the Dow Jones, gold, GBP, JPY. I got cryptos, you can make these lists. I got all these cryptos that added. So it's real easy to go back. Currency research. So long term. So I got a bunch of currency pairs and I got the same thing over and over again. So when you are making a list, these are all I trade current pairs. I got all these different lists, stocks that I look at on a regular basis, but I only trade a few pairs. And so Australian dollar, I don't have it marked up. Sweet. So I might start the 1 day. All right, so I'm just gonna see some significant levels. So that's gonna be a significant level. These round levels are really significant. Basically, I like to create a zone off the beginning. I can add alerts to these. So if price hits those, I may either buy or sell, basically. I'm gonna drop down. This is a supply zone for sure. So if price comes back up, I may sell again into there. But I mean, you can come on, you can draw all the lines you want, use all the different tools, indicators, yards, please. But I usually keep my charts pretty clean. Sometimes I don't even have these period separators up there. Sometimes I need to change the color of those. But yeah, that actually looks a little bit better. keep it all the same colors. You can change the colors for all these. A bunch of tutorial videos for that. But yeah, so if I got the option barriers for Monday, Sunday night, I may come put those in here. So I have the levels ready, have alerts if those don't get targeted in the middle of the night. But this is basically it. I make my trading decisions based off what I sense from these, or if an option barrier gets hit, those expire at 9 a.m. our time, Central Time. So that usually things get really heated from 7 to 9. Some people can target those. That's also when a lot of news is released, whatnot. Mornings are really popular. Got to know your sessions, what you're trading in. But this is basically like kind of behind the scenes of like what it looks like for me. I'm basically just building a library so I can come back a year from now, 2 years from now, and like, oh, Fed did this, then this happened, this happened. Like, because it's the same things over and over again. If this didn't, my method didn't work, I promise you I wouldn't do it. But think that's pretty good for a second video. It shows you how to do research, find your own sources. Like, I mean, use my sources, but for if you're trading a specific stock or crypto, go out and find your own sources. It's going to really cover these things for you. But I think that about wraps it up for this video. Appreciate it, guys. See you next time.